Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. There's going to be a clip of this, a version live or recorded. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson, and hopefully you all are doing great. Welcome to the broadcast booth. If you come here and join us, don't forget to like, share, and follow. If you're a real person, we'll follow you back. All right. Today's title is Life. Life comes at us hard and heavy sometimes. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. It is a little warm in here. I might have to turn my AC back on. It is, what is it outside? I don't know. What's the temperature? 71 degrees here, which means it's 80 degrees in my office right now. Good morning. L, how's it going with you? Welcome to the broadcast booth. Again, don't forget to like, share, and follow. And when you do, go into my profile and hit that little bell icon up there, and we will, and you will, not me. I know when I go live. Oh, cool, 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 cool. Yeah, I was 11 Bravo, absolutely. Infantry all the way. Um, can't complain there. I should have went in younger. I was 33 when I joined, so, but 31 Bravo for you. That's awesome. Which line is that? It's been a hot minute. What is 31 Bravo? Please enlighten me. Like I said, it's been a hot minute. I got out in 2012 officially. So, sweet. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Military police. We knew quite a few of them. And there's a lot of women that go into the military police. We knew quite a few when we were in Afghanistan. So, yeah, yeah. But that's a cool profession to be into. And it carries over into the civilian world, especially if you want to be in law enforcement there. So, pursue your passions. Well, that's because, unfortunately, you guys have to be dicks. All right, and we talked about don't be a dick last show, but you guys kind of have to be. But that's just a persona given, and that's a military in general get a bad rap, and when it comes down to it, but yeah, inside the military itself, military police do get the bad rap. But if you're a pogue as well, you get a bad rap on that note too. When you never want to leave the wire and all that good stuff. But you'll be fine. Just keep that head up and do what you do. Do those investigations and bust those jackasses that want to be dicks. You know, we have no problems with that. But now I think you'll do great. And you're young and you've got your whole career ahead of you to do what you want to do. And I am gonna have to turn on my damn fan. It is nice and fucking hot in here. But no, I appreciate you being here, being part of the military family. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. See, like I said, had I done it out of high school, I was 33 when I joined. I was at the age most people are retiring from the military, and I probably would have retired from it. I was National Guard with the Army, but I was pretty much active duty the entire time. I never saw my 1 weekend a month and 2 weekends out of the year. I was always on active duty orders pretty much my entire tour of the military. Those 6 years on, 2 years off. So with the National Guard, which is an 8 year tour basically, 8 year stretch of your contract, and that unfortunately it does that. When I was in Afghanistan, my wife at the time didn't want me coming home because she thought it had changed me that much. She was nervous and almost scared to have me come home for that little bit of block of leave for 10 days for Christmas. And she was like, I really don't want you here, you know? And so, yeah, military unfortunately does put a stressor on a relationship. And then I was still in whenever I got with my second ex-wife, who was a girlfriend at the time, uh, because we ended up, my first wife and I ended up getting a divorce, um, and she found somebody else, you know, and she asked for the divorce, and she actually got re-engaged before the divorce papers were even put on the table. Make that make sense, right? So, but yeah, no, military does put a strain, but you do get those that are very supportive, of you being in the military. Then you will find someone like that. Um, Sometimes it's better to find somebody that's not in the military as well. Uh, but again, you're very young. You joined in 2024 at 18, you said, and here it is 2 years later. You're still doing what you love to do. Hopefully, you love what you're doing, um, because that makes a difference too. And I know that wanting to be in a relationship and military interfering with that relationship can be a conflict of interest as well. But you're going to find somebody that enjoys what you do and doesn't mind what you do and will stick with you. And sometimes that is somebody in the military as well, because they know what you're going through, they know what you're going to go through, and all that goody good stuff. So, you know, L, you will find that person you are looking for. I promise. Nah, it is what it is. My sister was, and we loved her. It didn't change who she was to us, you know, and we understood why. All the guys in her life fucked her over, and, she switched to the other team, and it's to each their own. I have no problems with, anybody's orientation of which way they want to go. And that is something that has to be looked at, that, that unfortunately is not a bad thing, you know, that a lot of people turn it into because, oh well, you're this, they label you, and there's no sense in doing that shit. As they say, you love who you love. There is, and everybody's going to have that stigma. It's just like that's why we don't talk about religion or politics here on the show, because anytime you talk about those two subjects, people lose their fucking minds, and you know it there's channels for that. If that's what you really want to talk about, there are channels for that. There are shows out there that's all they specifically do is talk about religion or politics. You know, I've been on both sides of religion, and it doesn't change my belief system. You know, uh, let me show you one of my most controversial uh, drawings, because that's what I do here. One of my designs right here. And while I'm up, I might as well turn on my AC. Okay, this piece right here got me the most backlash out of any piece that I own that I've done yet, and I still haven't finished it yet. Still makes me laugh. Right here, my crucified Deadpool from his line in Deadpool that says, "Oh, I'm the Marvel Jesus," because he gets resurrected so many times because of his healing power, his healing factor that he has, even though it made him disfigured and all that good stuff. But this was my most controversial backlash piece I've done, you know, and I got so much hateful criticism on that piece, that one piece. Oh, it will be eventually. It's just like this one. the last Ronin for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is my design right here. And from my ex mother in law, who came at me, to artists that came at me, it was quite interesting to see the narrative that they brought and spun on the whole situation with it. Um, because that's not the first time a comic book character has been crucified on the cover of a comic book or inside the comic book, period. So I put him on an M for Marvel, obviously, and used his own swords, as his nails, if you will. And the backlash that I got off of that one piece, and that's not why I haven't finished it. It's just I've got so many other commissions that I'm working on that, you know, a big 18 by 24, a bunch of paintings that I'm working on, two other commissions, plus the official license cards for Evil Ernie right now, which you can see. I'll show you that up close and personal. Dynamite right there is the whole legalities down there at the bottom. Dynamite, Chaos, and Coffin Comics, which is Brian Paluto's baby, which was Chaos Comics, which is that middle logo right there, was his official first book stuff, with Evil Ernie kicking it off with Entity Comics way back in the day. And so, yeah, that's the stuff that I do. And to get so much backlash over one piece, that was kind of interesting to see. And it doesn't make me stop doing things that I want to do. It's just like my Naughty Nun series, which is my bad nuns. I've got three different pieces on that. Actually, I'm gonna show those. So give me just 1 second. They're right here. All three of them are together, so that's cool. All right, so I did a series called The Naughty Nuns, my Bad Nun series. Hopefully, you can hear me, because I can't hear me. I can hear me, but not like I normally do. And with that, some people love them, some people hate them. And don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. But the very first one that kicked off my Naughty Nun series is this piece right here. It is a T-shirt. It does glow under black light. All of the crosses that are upside down, the halo around her, and the lips and the eyes all glow under black light. So there's that one. We'll see if we get a restriction on that due to their AI. Second one I drew up was the ball gag Naughty Nun right there. Again, you see the crosses down here, over here, crosses up here. Everything that's in a bright color is also um, black light design. And the final one so far in my Naughty Nun series is the Praying Nun right there. The horns have black light in it. The skin is black light. She's got black light highlights throughout her robe right there. All of these have been turned into t-shirts as well and are available, as well as the original paintings are available if you guys are interested in those. And I'm going to get a restriction for that because I do not sell on the TikTok shop. I do not believe in that because I like keeping my profits in house. So there you go. So that's some of my controversial artwork that we go through. And then I'm not an AI guy, period. And I know there's a lot of people, tons of people that are AI solely. They love their AI bullshit. Um, and so someone approached me with a commission piece that they wanted to do a You know that big chat GPT thing that's going around that shows all the different images of the person with their profession and their hobbies and things like that on like that. TikTok is very sensey. There's my live visibility. I am now telling people to go purchase products outside of TikTok. There it is. There it is. I'm not even going to appeal it because it doesn't. It does not change things. They do not approve my appeals. Uh, yeah, I got a restriction one day for saying the word, and I'm going to spell it out because if I say it, I'm going to get the restriction and probably get my live shut off. But row, tick, and good morning, chocolate. Um, I said that word on my live show, and it boom cut me off like within a minute and a half of saying that word, and gave me a violation and wouldn't let me go live for like 3 days or whatever it was. Their slap on the wrist ban, you know. And I've gotten so many restrictions for stuff. I'm surprised I didn't get a restriction on showing that very first um, Naughty Nun, my Bad Habit series picture, because I usually will get a violation on that image or one of those images. Because I've held up a comic book of she's still dressed, but it's Chun Li from Street Fighter, and she's covering herself like this, and she's got a skimpy bikini bottom on and a bikini top that's pulled off to the side, obviously, but she's holding herself, and it deemed it as a explicit image of a real person, basically, is what it did, and I was showing nudity on their channel. But if you go scroll right now with the live creators that are on female, you're going to see worse images than that and what they're wearing right now than what I'm drawing or showing on my show, on my channel. I get it, man. The trick, I totally understand because I get so many violations on my show, it's not even funny. Um, it's like if they would put it like they say they do, which they do not. You know what? I am going to appeal this because I know it's not going to be approved, but it is what it is. The dang it, I got to get a better. I got to get a better setup for that. The thing is, they use AI to generate everything with their channels, with their what watching the lives and things like that, and it makes no sense 100% what they allow and what they don't. Now, if you're making money hand over fist for them, like some of these creators do, they allow a lot more. So there's a true double standard when it comes to TikTok. And you got women in spaghetti straps that are cut way almost to their nipple line and all that good stuff. And they don't say a word about those. They used to show or have channels that would be blurred out, but you could still hear what was going on in the background. And they're basically telling you, hey, go watch this other channel while you're watching this, and you can see what I'm actually doing, you know? And then all of the enhancement commercials they used to have on here that were very graphic, you know? Wow. That's crazy. See, and I just don't understand, all of their legality rules that they don't follow themselves, you know? And if Roy was here and Casey, both of those guys are normally here, they could tell you a lot of the restrictions I've gotten that were just bullshit restrictions. Now I can cuss up a storm on my channel and not get a restriction period. But I show a specific image of a comic book that's drawn, or I say a specific keyword. Like I can't even talk about prevention And if you know, you know the 1-800-273-8255 or the 988 line. If you know what that's about, I can't even say the word prior to the prevention hotline because it deems it as a self harm situation. And that's not what's going on. We're just trying to spread awareness of the situation, of the 22 a day, or that's on the military side, which I believe is higher than that. So, yeah, yeah. And it's stupid that we have to change words so that we don't get a violation or that we don't get our channel shut down. Whenever there's so many other things that people are violating out there on their live shows or even what they post on the channel itself that gets allowed and gets let through. So I feel your pain, Trick. I 100%. And it's a true 100% double standard that they have. And I truly feel like if you are generating the views, the money, and all of that good stuff that they're looking for, like if you're getting 10,000 views and you're getting gifts upon gifts that people are paying for because TikTok is getting their cut and you're getting your cut, but they're getting that bigger cut, they don't care what happens. Uh huh. Exactly. 100%. That's what I was talking about just a minute ago. And like I said, if you go scrolling for other live channels right now, you're going to see creators laying in bed, barely dressed, or not even dressed, with a towel or a sheet over the top of them, and you can clearly see what's underneath for the most part, and it's totally allowed. But I hold up a drawing of a comic book, and I get a restriction for nudity and smexuality. You see how I had to change that word? But if Roy was here, I'd be talking about his new shirt that came in. Dun dun dun, the Aussie shirt, based off of my painting, right here. It's ready for him to pick up. I'll actually give it to him, hand deliver it to him. But right there, I do have these Aussie paintings available right now. I've got two of them. They're normally one of them's normally hanging back here, but I don't right now. I've got my Blacklight Venom and my Dexter painting right here behind us as we speak. Oh man, I'm glad we got some talkative people on here today because that's awesome. That helps the show go a little bit smoother sometimes over me, handling the whole conversation. But B8 Energy Peach Mango, you need to be my sponsor 100%. You have the greatest flavor of energy drink right here out of any energy drink ever. I do not drink the other shit, Ghost, Bang, Monster, Red Bull, any of that stuff because it is very, very detrimental to your health. And if you don't believe me, just go look it up yourself. Um, Absolutely. I mean, people get taken down for the craziest of situations. Um, there was one day I was just talking about something, and I wasn't using the change of words and different things like that. And next thing I know, boom, show ended, done. And it was because I said a specific keyword, and TikTok didn't like it. Their AI algorithm didn't like it, and it was just like boom, done. You're done for like 3 to 5 days, however many days it was, whatever it was. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I go in and appeal it. Most of the time, my appeals get approved, unless it's talking about buying my merchandise outside of TikTok, because I do not sell on the TikTok shop. I might make more money, with my merchandise if I did, but that means I've got to have a backlog of all of these different sizes, and I just don't have that. I order mine, order specific. You want the shirt? I'll order it for you, and I'll get it in your hands, or I'll just have it sent directly from the company that prints it up for me. You know, refreshing. But Trick, I appreciate you being here. You seem like an awesome person. If you haven't followed me or friended me yet, go ahead and do that, and I will do the same after the show. Um, so we were out and about doing our thing, what we normally do. We go by feed because, well, if you've never been here before with us, what we do is I'm a disabled veteran. I do artwork, which you saw my controversial one over here. Um, and I homestead as well. So, but we also talk about comic books, comic book artwork. We talk about horror movies, sci-fi movies, thriller movies. You can keep your damn dramas. I don't give a shit about those. Um, my comic books, my comic book artwork, and things of that nature. That's what we talk about here. We don't talk about religion or politics because people lose their damn minds. So you can keep those channels to yourself. I have made a few shirts, and my favorite one I've made is Deadpool flipping off the Batcave. There you go. See, and see, I'm a huge Batman fan too. So, as you can see by the Adam West autograph back here from the 19 that's March 11th, 1966 Life magazine with Batman Adam West on the front cover. Mad Mad World. The theme record right there, autographed by Adam West, and a picture of Adam West, autographed by Adam West. Now, the cool thing about this one right here, the Life magazine, he actually took the time to flip through it before he autographed it actually, and he had ink on his fingers from the autographs that he had been doing. So I actually have his fingerprints on that piece right there. So that's pretty exciting and cool. But yeah, he was a cool guy to talk to and meet back in the 90s. It was 1996, I believe, is when I met him at a from Rock 100.5 The Cat, a local radio station in Oklahoma City. Brought him to town, and they set him up outside of a grocery store, and it was actually pretty cool. You know, that was one of my first meet and greets with a celebrity that got me started going to comic book conventions and things like that, getting autographs and all the likes. And before, you used to be able to write to these celebrities, authors, and artists, and all kinds of different things, and get their autograph. They would send you an actual autograph back in the 90s if you just wrote to them. You know, nowadays it's, well, if you're not going to pay me 60, $80 to get my autograph, well, you're not getting my autograph. You know, it drives me crazy with that type of stuff. Yeah, you're a celebrity. Yeah, I know you're making your money hand over fist, but you know, come on, man. Hey, what up, man? Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Welcome to the broadcast booth yet again. Yo. So, but what I was getting ready to say was we were out and about, and I found some comic books that I needed to replace some of my not so desirable comics. Um, I have not been on TikTok in a minute. Well, I'm glad you are back, brother. Good to see you. I was wondering where you were, why you were MIA out there in the world. But I get it. Not everybody likes to be on social media on a regular basis. I don't like to flip through social media on a regular basis. I've got shit to do. You know, I've got life shit to do. You know? All right, so right here are three books that I found out in the wild. They're decently priced. I wish they would have been in the dollar bin, but they're not. So, Uncanny X-Men number 250, right there. You can see the price I paid for it right there on the cover. This is going to replace one that I've got in my collection right now that is a pretty shitty copy, if you will. And that's why I picked these up. Number 265. This is after Storm had basically passed on, and they resurrected her yet again, like they do most Marvel characters. Um, thing with me is I find trouble, and I go to it thinking, why the fuck not? I get that. I don't avoid trouble myself. That's why I get so many restrictions here on TikTok. And sometimes I get blackballed for a little bit. And then number 314 to replace my comic book that is jacked up beyond all repair. which is FUBAR, fucked up beyond all repair. The great phrase that no longer exists anymore, FUBAR, FUBAR. And then we found some pretty cool stuff as well. I haven't even opened this one up to look it over. But these are from August of, I don't even know what year. They're from August 1986, October of 86, and this one does not have number 48 and number 47. If that's 47 and this is 48, so this one would still be 1986, so probably like September. But here we go. These are comics features right here. Right here. Again, I haven't opened this up yet to see what's in here, but they've got all kinds of cool stuff in here. Let's see. I just find it almost comical that people start trouble, then get hurt when I say something. Absolutely. People can't handle. You can't handle the truth. You know, people get butthurt over the simplest of things, and it is comical. It is quite sad that you know that people can't handle getting some backlash for what they say. It's just like the people that came at me for I'm the Marvel Jesus with Deadpool being crucified. So many people came at me for that picture right there. It's not even funny. All right, so this has the X Factor on it. This is after they broke apart from the X-Men, obviously. Oh, it's going to be turned into a shirt. So just wait and I'll send you some information about that when it happens. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what all is in here. So a complete hero history of Legion of Superheroes. Big whoop-de-doo. I'm not a DC fan by any stretch of the imagination. Strip Search. Ron Golert looks at sci-fi funnies. Exclusive talk with animation great Joe Barbera, Hanna and Barbera. Mike Benton's latest tips on making money in comics. Maybe I should read that one. What's the best way to play superhero games? Question mark. And plus, your latest letters, the hottest news, and your guide to all the upcoming comic books of 1986. There you go. It's very cool. I mean, these magazines from back in the day were awesome. Wizard magazine, these type of magazines are very cool, and you get special little features in here, pullouts. Walter Simmons, wow, Simonson, sorry, one of the greatest artists, back in the day. That alone is worth it for being an X-Men fan. Fuck Thor in the middle. I don't even know why he's in the middle of that, but the X-Men right there with X Factor and New Mutants down at the end, freaking awesome. And then right here, the classic X-Men, Angel, Iceman, Beast, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, or Marvel Girl at the time. Power Pack, yep, all those guys. Upcoming comics. This is a pretty cool little magazine. Johnny Quest. Oh man, I'm surprised I wasn't into this one back in the day. But this was actually before I got into collecting comics. I didn't start collecting comics until 1988 with my Uncanny X-Men number 183 was my very first comic book to actually read. But that was whenever I started staying the summers with my grandparents and a friend of mine that lived down the way. He had a subscription to the Uncanny X-Men. And this was the first comic book I ever read that got me hooked on the Uncanny X-Men. Yes, it is encapsulated in plastic, a 9.2 grading. I only have two graded books in my entire collection. A lot of people would say that's sad, but I don't care. I like to read mine. I like to sniff those pages. It's like walking into an old bookstore and you just smell the history, you know, from the books, the musty smell of those books. And comic books are the same way. You walk into a comic book store and there's just a specific smell of that ink, that those pages, you know, and it, very distinctive smells. It's just like I could say some other things, but about what distinctive smells there are out there too. But now we're not a family channel here. Um, a torso in Afghanistan, you know, that has a distinctive smell. Um, sorry, it's just memories flooding in and all that good stuff. We're talking about life in general. Yesterday was the anniversary of the death of my son back in 2009, June 16th. A memory that will be etched in my mind for forever. Um, and so yesterday was just an off day for me. It's life. You know, we have our tragedies. We have those moments that we'll never get back, if that makes any sense. And but you can't stop living. You know, there was a full year in there when I could have used the prevention hotline that's being recorded on my other channel that goes out to Facebook and YouTube, and the 1-800-273-8255 or the 988 number, the prevention hotline over there. Because for for a solid year, I felt like Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon whenever he goes off on his rant with Danny Glover's character after they had stopped something and they were inside the abandoned um, building that they were in by the front doors. And he told him, every day he wakes up and wants to put, you know, that through his head. And every day he finds a reason not to. That was me for a solid year after my son's passing. And he was 17 years old. He had just joined the military. He was actually getting ready to go off to basic training to become a medic in the military. And he didn't get to fulfill a lot of his dreams. He had already had his what he was going to do lined out. You know, he was going to go to Oklahoma State University, OSU, for their EMT school and firefighter school. Actually, their firefighter school, and then become an EMT as well. And that was going to help him in the military style with his medic, side of it all. He was drilling with his unit prior to going to basic training, so he was getting prepared, for all that stuff. But an ATV accident took his life, and he wasn't able to complete or fulfill his destiny. You know, and it sucks because he's your firstborn. He's your son. He's the one that's going to carry your lineage on um, at that point in time, and now that's gone. I do have two daughters. Um, Again, one of those, correction, both of those no longer speak to me because of what my ex-wife told them, whatever truth she told them. And like I've said on my show many a times, I was not a saint in my second marriage, nor was she. And but for her to turn your own kids against you, you know, I will be getting all kinds of stuff ready for that one. It's not finished, but it will be. It's on my list. It's probably one of my next ones to finish after I get through these commissions that I've got sitting on my desk. And because he's definitely getting finished with as much backlash as I got on him, 100%. He's definitely getting done. And so my oldest daughter just got married as of 2 days prior to the anniversary of my son's passing and her brother's passing. And I wasn't invited to that. I didn't get to walk her down the aisle. And so those are pains. This month is just one of those months that I wish didn't exist, you know, because yes, your daughter got married. It's a happy day. I'm happy for her. I'm ecstatic for her. I still love her. She's my daughter, and that's never going to change. And but you are the one that's supposed to be walking her down the aisle. You're the one that's supposed to be, in those pictures with her. And then 2 days later is the anniversary of a death, you know. And then this stretch of months, because from May, June, and July, well, not those three, but it was 3 years in a row. So, and they were all less than 3 years apart. My sister was killed by a drunk driver in 2008. My son dies in 2009. My grandfather dies in 2010. So it's just boom, boom, boom. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it would be a 4-inch sticker. I'm done with the smaller stickers. They just don't look as good. So everything is going to be the 4-inch stickers from now on, which is roughly about that size. A little bit small. A little bit. Actually, this one's a little small. This one is not quite a 4-inch sticker. No, it is a four. This one is the 4-inch sticker. This one is my Batman Who Laughs homage to that image that you see right there. Dun, dun, dun. But it's Batman Who Laughs with the crows. That's what they call these little guys. The robins. They're his crows right there. But yeah, I used to do the smaller stickers, and they just don't look as good because that's a 3-inch sticker right there of the Joker, my Joaquin Phoenix Joker that I did a painting right there. Uh, the Batman with Pattinson, is that the one you're talking about? Because I liked it. I liked that movie. A lot of people hated that movie, and okay, I've got his picture right here. It is up for grabs. Let me find it right there. Bum bum bum. That one is up for sale. I got a huge sale going on right now as well. And that was I like that movie. I'm looking forward to number two, which is the first time they've ever done that in the history of the Batman franchise. Is put the Batman 2, whereas everything else has a title after the Batman title. So the Batman 1989. Oh, I moved him farther back, or I would hold him up right here. Michael Keaton's 1989 Batman. Great show, great movie. Loved that one. I loved the 1992 Batman. Is it no? Not Batman Returns. No, it was Batman Returns, wasn't it? Because it had Michelle Pfeiffer as the Catwoman and Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and that was a great one. And then it just started getting campy after that, especially when they brought in Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Those ones I didn't like as much. I still watch them, but not my favorite. And then the Dark Knight trilogy with Christian Bale, one of my favorites all time, right there. And of course, the 1966 Batman TV series, awesome. I have action figures right over there in that lighted section. All those are action figures back over there. And you can kind of see them right here lining the wall. right there, the 1966 McFarlane line Batman right there. And then, of course, you had the 1930s and 40s serials that you went to the movies to see, and you used to be able to catch all of those. And that wasn't the only serials because you had the Superman serials, you had um, the Shadow serials, you had all kinds of serials before the movie in the 1950s and or 1930s and the 1940s. Um, they would be before the movie started. You got to see a 5 or 10 minute clip, whatever it was, of the show. Maybe a 20-minute clip. I can't remember what they were, but they were relatively short and compact. So, but no, the Batman. A lot of people hated on that movie, and I liked it. You know, and it's just like I'm reserving the right to Masters of the Universe, which is out right now. A lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. And so but you get that with every movie that comes out. You can never find a happy medium with any movie that comes out that everybody loves. You know, there's going to be those naysayers throughout every movie that's ever made in history that no one is going to agree on. Some of my greatest movies are the sci-fi and horror movies from the 1930s, 40s, and down into the 1970s. You know, and those are some of the cheesiest horror movies ever made, but they're still some of my favorites. You know, welcome Casey to the broadcast booth. Glad to see you're up and awake and got your coffee in hand just like me. My coffee of choice, V8 Energy, Peach Mango, be my sponsor. Refreshing. But but no, obviously you loved the Batman, or you would not have picked the name you did and enjoyed the movie as you did. So, but so much controversy over movies anymore, and it's just you can't just enjoy a movie because it has to be, oh well, they're doing this political spin, oh they're doing this, oh they're bringing in too much of a religion in this, oh they're just enjoy the damn movie. Quit looking quit looking for something that's not there. Absolutely, 100%, and it's ridiculous. And Folgers coffee, good to the last drop. Always a good slogan. My grandparents love Folgers coffee. But yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous that that people want to go that far, and people take it that far, and it's just the morals of today's society are ridiculous. That's why corporal punishment still needs to be in school. You get SWATs for whatever you're doing. You know, none of this timeout, put your nose in the circle bullshit. You know, soft parenting in school, soft parenting at home, and go back to SWATs 100%. And get the biggest fucker you got in school as far as your teachers go, and give the SWATs. And in fact, if you're in wood class, have them make their own fucking paddle. You know, like we used to have to. I cannot tell you how many paddles we made for teachers in school as part of our woodworking projects. And we didn't have all this bullshit that you see in schools where parents are getting into fist fights and shit that are filmed all over TikTok because someone sat in a seat that somebody else wanted. No. The ridiculousness alone in that a parent is getting into a fist fight at a kindergarten something or other because, oh, you sat in a seat that I wanted because I want to be up front where I can see my kid or whatever the fuck it was over. But it was over the stupid seat. No, we didn't have shit like that. You sat where you sat. If you couldn't see, that was your own fault for not getting there early. You know, I'll fight Jake Paul if he wants to pay me. I don't give a shit. I like boxing. I love doing it in Afghanistan. You know, I'll take Jake Paul's money for, Now, am I going to throw the fight like Tyson did? Absolutely not. I will go toe to toe with the motherfucker. I don't care. Come on, Jake Paul. Bring it on. Bring it on, motherfucker. I'll fight your brother too. You both can be at the ring in the same time. Don't give a shit. Yep, I just called out Jake Paul. Bring it on. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this, motherfucker. And I'm not a boxer, you know? I do have the genes from my grandfather, who was a light featherweight in the military, a Golden Glove winner. You know, absolutely. I'll take the money, even if I get knocked the fuck out. I would. I don't care. I just enjoy it. We used to spar a lot. In Afghanistan with full body contact because we didn't have our mouth guards, so we didn't go headshots. 100%. If we did, we pulled up on the shot, but the body shots we took, uh, no one liked going against me, um, because they tell me I've got a specific strength, and I can't say that word here on on the show, or we'll definitely get taken down. Um, it starts with an R and ends with tard, at the end, and and no nobody liked to do the combatives with me or spar with me most of the time. I would get the people that did, but for the most part they didn't like it because they're like, yeah, we're supposed to be working half speed. Well, what is half speed? I'm at half speed, but you still say I'm going full speed, you know. And so yeah, there was a lot of times that I had to cut it back a notch. It's just like when I punched the house. People are like, "Is the house okay?" It's like, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I've checked it and I didn't see anything cracked. I'm pretty sure I potentially cracked a knuckle in there, but what are they gonna do? Tell me to wrap it, ice it, and quit hitting shit? Yeah, okay. I can do that at home. I don't need to go to the doctor for that. Sorry, but yeah, no. I Give me anybody in their prime, and I would still be like, let's go, let's do this. I've got a buddy that's a boxer. I'd go up against him too. Just let's do an exhibition bout. You know, because I think it would be fun. Um, Jake Paul, I'd go up against him. Like I said, and as long as he's paying me money, let's do it. You know, I got some bills to pay, so you know. Oh, absolutely. You get people that get a splinter and have to go to the hospital. I'm over here digging. I've still got one that's kind of in my hand that I pick at on a regular basis until it starts. I mean, it's coming to the surface, and the majority of it's gone. But I've got so many cuts, and I mean, like that right there. People will go to the hospital for that little boo boo right there. That's from a cat claw, right there. He dug in as we were playing, and he dug in with that claw, and it just went boink all the way through, and it just latched on. So, but yeah, people will go to the hospital for that. It's a soft generation, a very soft generation, because Casey, mine, if Roy was here, we could all tell you you would get hurt, even if there was some blood. They'd be like, rub some dirt on it, walk it off, you're fine. You know, there's none of this. Oh well, we got to rush to the hospital or anything like that. You know, so there was no urgency, if you will. Wrap it up in a bandage, says the Gen Z teacher. Um, no, ours was put some dirt on it, put some ice on it, walk it off, you're good. Hell, I went to football practice after having a root canal done. Um, Best time of my life. I was still numb, so any hit I took, I didn't feel shit, especially in the head area, because you were making full head contact with your helmets. You know, there was none of this stuff that you see in football today. You know, put a cork in it. Yeah, I've heard that one too. That one came way later. Oh man, if you guys haven't seen the movie Wizards from 1977, go do it. Um, it is a political movie, unfortunately, but it's great. Got great artwork in it from many, many greats out there. But the writer of it, Bashki, great mind, but again, political. Kind of like Watership Down. If you've never seen the Rabbit cartoon, or the what was it, the Farm? Casey, was it the Farm? That was very political um, back in the day about barnyard animals, basically. But Watership Down, some of the greatest cartoons ever made, unfortunately, are very political. Um, but go check it out if you haven't seen it. It's called Wizards, 1977. Great, great movie. A lot of great animation in it. Think Heavy Metal for from 19. What was it? Yeah, Elmo. And it wasn't because of Jim Henson. Elmo came after Henson, so Henson wasn't as political as what they're turning the Muppets into, unfortunately. Yes, Animal Farm. That's it. And so many shows are going way too political, and it's sad. You know. Yeah, yeah, and it's sad that so many people want to push political agendas on everybody, and that's why again we don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion here because again, people lose their damn minds over all of that shit. And I know politics and religion have been in comic books and movies since the dawn of time. I mean, I'm sure if you would look back at the cave drawings or hieroglyphics, we would see politics and religion in all of it. I'm in so many artist groups. Absolutely, Casey. I'm in so many artist groups that want to push their political agenda. It's disgusting. And it's like, why can't you just show your artwork and let us interpret it instead of you being like, well, this is bashing this group. This is bashing this group. This is a hate against this group. This is a hate against this group. This is my orientation or whatever. Just art is art, man. Damn you. So just let your art speak for itself. It's like this piece. If you want to get pissed off over this piece right here, please, by all means, get fucking pissed off. Throw your hat across the room. Put pencils in your eyeballs. I don't give a shit. This is my interpretation of what was said by Deadpool in the movie. Okay? I don't give a fuck whether you like it or you don't like it. You know, absolutely 100%. And it's just like there's so many people that I follow that all they want to push on their Facebook page or Instagram page or whatever is nothing but politics and their beliefs. Everybody's got their beliefs, dude. Dudette, whoever you are, whatever pronoun you want to be this week, I don't give a shit. That's not who I am. You know, I'm a he all the way, 100%. I'm not a they them. I'm not a toaster. I'm not a toaster strudel. I'm not, whatever the fuck you want to be this week. If I'm making money as a Taco Bell, fuck yeah, I'm all for that. You know, I identify as a Wendy's. Please give me the revenue. A he man, absolutely, and that's what. And unfortunately, that's where the whole politicalness comes into the she-ra and he man. Unfortunately, with those great cartoons of the '80s and great toy line, but too many people want to push that on a regular basis and try to get everybody's to be on their side. Yes, Martha, Wendy's chili is some of the best, unless you make it yourself. I like my chili the best. I can make it as hot as I want to because chilies, all these places that say, "Oh, we make some hot chili," no, you don't. No, do you put some Trinidad Scorpion in your chili? Do you put some of the number two hot sauce in the world, a hot seasoning basically, in your chili? No, I guarantee you don't. But no, chili. Wendy's does have some good chili. So good call, Martha. Good call. Um, I mean, tobacco could back you up as well. It's not outlawed yet, so. But yes, I've got some Tabasco. I got some Louisiana hot sauce. I've got some. I think it's called Red Hot. That will that will put some heat in your seasoning when you're cooking. Um, but when I was in Texas on what was it? Oh, I can't remember the street in Texas, but they had a hot sauce store, and that's all they sold in there was specifically hot sauces from around the world. Basically, they had the number two hottest sauce in the world in their shop. And there a bunch of military guys are going through looking at hot sauces. I'm picking up a few here and there. And they're like, "Hey, you guys want to try this?" And they tell us what it is. They tell us the Scovilles on it. I've got a Scoville chart sitting right here actually. You know, this is how much I like my hot sauces right here. Um and they tell us the Scoville range, which was in the 16 million, up there high. Hello, Tammy. Welcome to the show. And those really aren't that hot, supposedly, as some people die from it, but because they just can't handle heat. And I'm not sure what I off of this chart. The Carolina Reaper is where it start or stops as far as the peppers go, and that's 2,200,000 Scovilles. But this was hotter than those. It was in the 3 to 6 million Scoville range, and they dipped the tip of a um, toothpick in it and was like, "Who wants to try it?" You know, and everybody was like, "Not me, not me." And I was like, "I'll do it." You know, put it in, tasted it, got a good flavor to it, and then immediately went from redneck to red face. You know, and like, "You want some water?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." Seriously, it does have a kick to it. You know, and it is hot, I'll give it that. And um, but other than that, it didn't knock me off my feet. It didn't, like make me want to bury my head in a gallon of milk or anything like that. But it did have a good kick to it. And that's why they say you only use like a drop in whatever you're cooking with. Like people that do the world's hottest chilies or whatever, they use like 2 drops of this stuff, you know. And the bottle was like $160 bottle, and it was only literally about this big. That's how big the bottle was. And they say it will last you a lifetime because you're only using like a drop per, you know. And it's just like, well, I can see how you're just using 1 drop because if anybody else got a hold of that, it would be like you're going to be pooping dragon, because you're going to have fire shooting out your ass, every time you light up. And it wouldn't be fun for a lot of people. Now, those people that don't have a spleen or gallbladder or things like, I think it's just the gallbladder, you're going to make them very miserable, you know. This generation wouldn't be able to handle that 100%. There's people out there that say they can handle hot stuff, but they can't even handle a habanero or a jalapeno, one of the hotter jalapenos, because I've seen it firsthand. You get people asking for certain things at restaurants, and the restaurant accommodates and brings it to them, and they're over there fanning themselves. Oh my God, it's so hot. Or I'm asking for ghost cheese, or do you have any, ghost peppers in the back somewhere? You know, of course, ghost pepper cheese isn't hot, 100% period. There's only been one cheese, and I think it had Reaper in it. I'm not 100% sure, but it was very spicy. I'm not going to say it was hot. It was spicy, but great flavor. I could only find it at one store. I think that was at Aldi's at the time. I think it was Aldi's, but I grow some hotter peppers than what most people will even think about touching. I've got some Trinidad scorpions growing back in the back, at the garden. So I did the Packy Chip challenge. I did that challenge. Um, at the time, it was great. I did the whole hour. I should have immediately. I should have had something on my stomach prior to the challenge and directly after the challenge, after the hour, because once the hour was up and I was driving home, I had to stop the car at least 3 times because I was cramping up. I was hating life, if you will. But I did the challenge 100%, did the whole hour without getting food or drink. And, but I was miserable for the next hour and a half, 2 hours after that, um, because I didn't have anything on my stomach. And if you're going to do any of those challenges, eat prior to that challenge or immediately after the time limit is in there. Because for you to complete that Packy Chip challenge, it is 1 hour. They give you a time frame. If you can hit 30 minutes, you're something, and then it goes into the 45 minutes to the 60-minute range. And you know, basically you're Thor if you can hit the 60-minute mark without food or drink and things like that. So, would I do it again? Probably not, because I've already done it. And I know my body has changed a little bit since that point in time. And I'm trying to think of what peppers I would want to do next, you know. And there are people that have no heat sensories, if you will, and can eat any hot pepper that you can throw at them. That's why they have the hot pepper challenges, and you see people snotting all over themselves. Um, because who is it that created the hottest reaper in the world? Damn it, what's his name? I've ordered seeds from them before, and what are their names? Pucker Butt Company. Um, Something Pucker Butt in there, and but he has created some of the world's hottest peppers by cross generating or cross infusing the peppers. So in the top right hand, next to the Michael Myers figure, you're talking right here. That is my Kiss collection right there. My Kiss action figures. They're the best AXN figures. They aren't the greatest figures in the world, but that's Gene Simmons, the Demon, and then the Catman, Peter Criss, and then followed by the Star Child, Paul Stanley, and then Ace Frehley, Space Ace, Spaceman, as they call him right down here. And then Ozzy underneath that, and then Slash underneath that, which you can't see because of this. But yes, and all the way down to this Batman. Can I reach him? Can I reach him? From Batman Noel, right there. Dun dun dun. A platinum edition of Batman with some goggles, some spy glasses in hand right there. But that's who's over here. That's all the ones right there. Those are the AXN figures. Again, they aren't the greatest figures in the world because some of them look like shit. But they have some great characters, some great history with them right there. And then, of course, if you look on in there, you've got a few pop figures on this shelf here and the next shelf down, and then everything else is a McFarlane line something or other for the most part. All the way down to the bottom where you can see the animal feed, if you can see that right there. Yes, the animal feed is in my hallway right there. But pretty much everything throughout here is nothing but Batman in some form, fashion, or another character, all the way down to the Lobo characters and things like that. So we're up to 20.9 thousand likes, which is much appreciated. That puts us in the popular live category. And like I said earlier, the Venom right there. Yes, Casey, that is Venom. He glows under black light, so he looks really cool whenever the black light is on, which I do not have the black light set up, or I would have it on with them right now. And as I said, we're getting ready to change this whole office look. We're going to be tearing that wall down where the Batman Adam West is. That wall is going away. We're pushing out 100 feet, so we're adding another 100 feet to the house. And yes, my office will be a thoroughfare for going in and out of the office from outside the house to inside the house. So that'll be fun. But no, it's all going to be good. I'm thinking about raising the ceiling a little bit as well when it's all said and done. That way I can get my 8-foot painting in here so I can work on it. I think right now the highest point in here is about 7.5 feet, so it won't accommodate my 8-foot painting right now, which is my life-size Boba Fett that I'm working on. And I've been working on it for 4 years now. But since I've moved, I don't have a ceiling space to lean it up against to work on it. So I just have put it off to the side, and it's sitting out in my shop right now on its side because it is an 8-foot tall hand stretched canvas that I created, and it is 4'6" or 4'8" wide. I can't remember exact dimensions of the width, but it is 8 foot tall with a 6 foot tall Boba Fett with the extension. That's why it's at the 8 foot tall range of his antennae that comes off of his helmet is sticking up there. So I think it's going to be cool once it gets done, if I can ever get back to it, which I will. Uh, but so much stuff's going to change in here, it's not even funny. I'm looking forward to the change because down here is going to be a print station. Right where we're sitting now is going to be a print station, and where my comic books sit in their own cubbies, basically. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, there's a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to. It's just a lot of planning and a lot of construction. And then it's a lot of money, especially if I raise the roof any, because I've got a steel beam going down the length of my office right here on this outside wall. So I don't know what I'm looking at with this outside wall yet, other than it's wonky as fuck on the outside. Um, I'm not gonna lie there. So there's probably a lot more stuff that I'm gonna have to do with just this little section right here um, once it's all said and done. But we'll get into that whenever I start tearing shit apart. Because I'm gonna have the other section built first before I tear the walls down, um, and go from there, and then start working my way back this direction with seeing what I actually need to do, if that makes any sense. But I'll tie into the existing wall out here, and then I'll see what I have to do out here on this section to make things right. Because nothing is right in this house. So I want to do some things right, you know. And we'll get there. We will get there, 100%. We will make things right. For whoever owns this house after me, you know. I mean, most likely somebody's going to probably come in here and just tear the house down, tear everything down on this property, which is probably what should have happened in the first place. But you know, it is what it is. We're making do with what we've got, with the best of what we've got, and we'll make it better. We'll make it better. Critters are doing fine. We had a new uh, chick just hatch yesterday, um, and so he's all fluffed out, or she. We're not sure which gender it is yet, um, until the feathers come in a little bit. And but we've, like I said, we lost our main rooster, Frodo, and but from him we have gained 17 now new chicks from him, from his siring uh, out there. So 17 to 1 is not a bad ratio. You lose one and gain 17, and we still have probably another 10 to 12 eggs out there, um, waiting to be hatched. If they do, we're not sure all of them are going to hatch or not, but um, there's a good chance we've got two broody birds out there that are sitting on eggs right now. So we will see how that goes for them, and hopefully we end up with some great birds out of all of this. We've already ended up with a new rooster, Tuck. He's doing great. He's fitting in. Not everybody likes him. There's a couple of birds that don't like him, hens and our other small rooster, Chester. But for the most part, he's fitting in really well. And then we've got a rooster that was sired by Frodo. He's more of a red color, rusty. Well, he's not really rusty. He's more red than anything else. And he's not, being aggressive with anybody, so that's good. He's keeping with his little flock that he grew up with, which includes a duck. Because we did hatch a duck underneath a chicken, so that's fun. We have another duck egg underneath a chicken right now to see if it's going to hatch out. So, but we're embracing the whole homestead as it comes. There are frustrations and things like that happen on a regular basis, but for the most part, um, things are moving along quite nicely, and can't complain about the critters. We do have some rat snakes showing up because we do have a lot of mice out there with the houses, so we don't mind that. And we're going to lose a few eggs here and there. We understand that, but for the most part, um, they're keeping the mice population down for us, as well as the chickens whenever they find them and chase them down. So it's quite a circle of life here on the homestead, and we're enjoying it 100%. And it's fun. It's fun. It's not for everybody, trust me. Had I thought this through, I probably wouldn't do it until much later, until I had a lot of things more situated and secure, if that makes sense. Because you don't want to keep continuously building stuff to accommodate your flock, if that makes any sense. And that's what we've been doing since day one. Um, it's been a journey. It's been a learning lesson. It's been it's just like gardening, because we have a full homestead here. We've got a garden. We've got animals. You know, pretty soon I'm going to have a kiosk out front that will have, you know, vegetables and um, eggs for sale. I'm going to get a violation for that, which I've already got a violation for anyway. So because I do not sell eggs on the TikTok shop. I'm sorry. So we're looking forward to all of it, and it's just a progress. It's just a process as well. Some people have it figured out way faster than others, and that's cool, you know. But ever since I've started this, I've started noticing how many more people have followed suit. If that makes any sense, it's like copycat gene, you know. Because I started doing it, started selling my eggs on Facebook and things like that, and the next thing I know, I see 10 friends. Hey, we've got eggs for sale, you know. It's just like, oh, okay. So you get a lot of the copycat genes and stuff like that. So, but it's all good. I mean, what is it? What do they say? Something is the greatest form of flattery, or something like that. I know you know what I'm talking about, but I can't think of what that first word is. But anyway, let's see here. What else we got? All of my Evil Ernie cards, imitation. There you go. All of my Evil Ernie cards are penciled in. I cannot show you the fronts of these, but they're all penciled in, ready to go. I'm putting in a little bit more tighter stuff on them. I did a loose representation on them to begin with. I'm tightening it all in, getting them ready to ink and then color and then send off. He's given me a little bit extra time since I didn't get them until like 5 days before deadline. Um, Maybe even four. I can't remember. But he's actually giving me a little extra time to get them turned in, which is awesome. And I know he does that periodically because that's what they do. They've got them out there. They'd rather get them done and turned in. It's just sad that I only have one extra card of this one because Evil Ernie is one of my jams, and I loved whenever he made his appearance back in the day, back in the '90s, and but we look forward to getting these finished and out and in the packs that they're going to be in. The Evil Ernie, what is it? Hell has frozen over collector's trading card packs and boxes that these will be in later on this year. Don't know their exact time frame when they're coming out, but it is later this year. So, and if you haven't, go find you some Puppet Master cards. I think there's a few of them on eBay, as well as they still in boxes and packs out there. So go get you some of those. That was my favoriteest set to work on, besides my very last set of The Walking Dead, and I'm about to sneeze. Maybe. That's And so, um, I do have a lot of licensed cards left over that if you're interested in getting one of those, hit me up. and we'll talk. 28.8 thousand likes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Today's been a great show. We've been on for nearly an hour and a half. I'm surprised Roy did not show up to take a gander at his new shirt that will be delivered to him. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. Based off of my painting of the Oz Man himself. So there you go. We'll be getting your shirt taken care of, Casey. I haven't taken it over there yet, but we'll get that taken care of. And then it's going to depend on, you still want me sending it to the same place, correct? I'm sure that's going to be a yes, but just got to make sure. you know. Yes. Yep, absolutely 100%. That's where it would be going to. But yes, no, today's been a good show. I appreciate each and everybody being here, giving us a lot of talk and commentary today, starting with the L with the heart, being the military police that she is. Kudos to her for going that route. That is a tough profession in the military, and they do get a lot of shit. To talking about life in there. We did talk about the heaviness of yesterday, and we're talking about, you know, right now, the stuff that's going on at this moment. And but I do appreciate each and everybody being here, checking us out. I do love you all. So don't forget, don't be afraid to tell people that you love them. Not in a weird, creepy way, like if you're in the bathroom or something at a restaurant or something, and you tell somebody that you love them. That's a little creepy and a little weird. But if that's you, go for it. I mean, you might get smacked in the face or something, but you know, or you could end up with a date. I don't know. In today's society, but to each their own, right? But love you guys. I do appreciate each and everybody being here. 30,000 likes is not a bad place to be sitting at. But I appreciate you guys. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody. Absolutely.